if no one can be mad at me, no one can really love me. Nope, that's not what I meant to say. Ouch, that, whoa. Be wrong, because you might be right. I do want to just get good. I need to be willing to really piss people off, specifically by being myself. This is miserable anyways. I may as well have a personality. I think that what I've learned is that whatever stifles me in relationships and in life is also going to stifle me creatively. Like they're going to be the same. And I've heard people say like making art and like loving people are the same thing. And I've always been like, that's kind of weird. Don't love that. Doesn't it depend what kind of art you're making and whatever else? But also, I don't know, just sounds weird. But I don't know. I think maybe in this sense, they are right about that. I think if I am the most considerate and polite and good by any metric that I can possibly be, then it's like, okay, no one can be mad at me. You can't be mad at me if I'm always polite. If I always say the right things and I follow the right social script and I am just good in every sense, you can't have anything against me, right? Those are the rules. You can't do it. But even like more personally, if I am a dedicated and thoughtful, considerate friend, then my friends can't be mad at me. And the other side of that is if no one can be mad at me, no one can really love me. Nope, that's not what I meant to say. Ouch, that, whoa. If no one, what I meant to say was, if no one can be mad at me, no one can really know me because I have to hold back aspects of myself to make sure that they don't get mad at them. Now, I'm also taking something away from them because I don't know if they will be mad at me for it. I have no idea. That's, you can't know what other people are thinking. You can pretend that you know and you can think that you know. Another effect of it is by going above and beyond as a friend, I will subconsciously start to expect other people to. Like, not just I'll be mad at them if they don't, but like it will genuinely surprise me when other people aren't willing to do as much as I am. It'll, I'll constantly be reminded by other people's actions that like I just am not as important to them as they are to me, and that that's my reality, right? And part of that could be like friendship selection. I think that's kind of been a trend for me. But it's also like, maybe I don't need to be doing everything I can to make sure that they like me. And if I mess up, maybe I don't need to be overly apologetic, because obviously like apologizing is good, right? Apologizing makes people not mad at you. But apologizing a lot, over apologizing, kind of makes you annoying. The people who do that are annoying. I don't find myself being more sympathetic towards them. Like, if they apologize, great. I respect that they have, like, a sense of accountability or whatever, but I don't think, like the diminishing returns on apologies happens really fast, and you just need to not apologize much, because that's annoying. And because if you don't respect yourself, people get annoyed. Like, they don't just not respect you. Like, I find people like that annoying, so why would I do that? A few years ago, there was this tweet by someone, I think her screen name was like Helena or something, and she had like dyed red hair or whatever, and she tweeted something like, "Oh, you only had iced coffee for breakfast? Should we throw a party? Should we invite Bella Hadid?" And it, like, so many people were like, this tweet has cured my eating disorder. Like, this is everything. Oh my God, this is so embarrassing. I don't want to be this person. Let me just eat breakfast like a normal person. And obviously it's just like a really funny tweet, because at the time that's what people were saying. Like, they were just like, yeah, I literally just go days and only drink iced coffee. And my point is, I saw a post, I think on Twitter, I don't know what on anymore, that kind of affected me similarly. That was like, oh, you're a people pleaser? Name 3 people who are pleased. And it was like, yeah, you're right. No one is pleased. When I try to please people, it actually annoys them, because people would prefer that you have self-respect and conviction around your actions. Even if your actions are annoying, they'll respect you more if you have conviction in them. That feels like backwards. That feels kind of insane, but I think it's true. And I think that's how I feel toward people too. And I think it comes down to control, right? I can't control the situation, so I'd rather avoid it. I'd rather not be in the situation, and then I am once again trying to make friends, right? I am afraid of being too much, so then I'm too little, and if I'm too little, I am not known, right? I'm so accommodating to everyone. I do everything I can to make a friend once I think that I'm in with them, once I have some reassurance that they kind of want that. Like, I'm sort of trying to make a new friend right now, and like, she just doesn't really text people, so I was like, okay, I'll write her letters. And then like, I don't know, I did that, and it's good. Like, I think that's a good thing. But I was also like, my God, like, how am I so willing to do that? I don't think I know anyone else who'd be willing to do that. Like, nobody would. Why am I? And that doesn't mean that I want to stop. It doesn't mean that it's a bad thing necessarily. Also, hi friend that I write letters to. Hello. But like, why am I so willing and capable of doing that? Like, I don't know, it comes so easy to me, and I think it's so deeply ingrained that I am going to accommodate other people all the time, no matter what. And in some ways, like, other people are accommodating me. I can get so wrapped up in this conversation in my head that I forget I'm not the only kind person. I am not the only person who is willing to be generous and willing to go above and beyond. And like, sure, maybe other people aren't doing what I'm doing, but they're kind of doing the more reasonable thing. Like, they're doing my version, but with self-respect. And now it's like become part of my ego that I am such a good friend and I am willing to do so much for people that I care about. And, you know, I just have so much love to give and all that. And it's like, why is that now my identity? What good does that be? How does that lead to a path out of this and into like mutual respect? I just have such a hard time accepting when I am not understood, and it leads to me not being liked. You can just let them be wrong. Like, they can just be wrong, or you can just be wrong. What if you were wrong, right? And I do the same thing in art. I suppress myself in art the same way that I do in relationships. And that's not great. I think it's kind of a form of perfectionism. Like, I am trying to protect myself. And so if I am perfect, no one is allowed to harm me. Otherwise, they would be obviously in the wrong, which is of course not how life works. Plenty of people don't mind obviously being in the wrong if they just believe themselves hard enough. I think the solution here is I need to just be authentic, and being authentic means sometimes being the villain, right? Sometimes you're the villain. Sometimes you are, in another person's perspective, not the good person. I think trying to be perfect requires not taking risks, and not taking risks requires that you aren't trying to make very meaningful art. I think those are kind of mutually exclusive. I think you have to take risks. And so if I'm taking risks, I can't be perfect. If I can't be perfect, people are allowed to dislike me. If people are allowed to dislike me, I have to live with people disliking me or disliking my work, or my work genuinely not being good enough. Like, not just the quality of the work, but the subject of the work, my perspective and my take that I'm sharing through art, whatever that is. And I think you can make good, meaningless art. I think you can like paint a pretty picture that is unchallenging to everyone. I don't think that that picture can be very meaningful in and of itself. I mean, we can project meaning onto anything, but I think great art kind of requires challenging people, and challenging people means sometimes people don't accept the challenge and that's it. And that's fine. I think it's kind of a matter of courage. Like, just be wrong, so be it. Have the bad take, have the take that people are like, actually this is, you know, says something bad about women. Actually, this exposes some bias that you have. Because it's like, if you make art for long enough and you are learning and getting better and evolving and reading and getting smarter, you're going to undo that harm 100 times over. If you're always trying to do good and you're getting better at doing good, any harm you do at the beginning will be undone in time. Arguably you have an obligation to do it because you're going to do more good by having the courage to be the bad guy early on and learn from it and do better. Plus, you might actually be right. That's something that's happened to me a lot. I have a perspective and I think really strongly of it. And then I think, oh, I'm just being stubborn. Let me listen to these other people. Let me, you know, take their word for it. Maybe they have more credibility in something. And then I come back to it years later and I'm like, no, actually I was right. I was right. My instincts were right, and I wish that I followed them. I wonder how many times I'm gonna have to like learn this lesson. Because in college I was like, I can't start this project. I don't know what to do. And my friends were like, just do it bad. Like, just make bad art and then you can like revise it until it's okay. I'm the type of person where I don't do a rough draft. I just like go really, really hard at my first draft and try to make that good enough. It really doesn't work with my brain to do multiple drafts at all. But because I wasn't willing to be bad, I wasn't willing to do anything. But if you do a bunch of drafts, you're like, whatever, right? I wasn't willing to come up with my photography project because I believed all my ideas were stupid. My friends were like, okay, then do a stupid idea. Your classmates do stupid ideas all the time. You think your classmates' writing isn't very good. Okay, then submit writing that isn't very good and you'll pass the class. That's what they do. Some of them will eventually get good because that's how trying things works. And that's what I needed to do. And that was in college. And this is years later. It's time to do it. And in a lot of ways I am doing that. It's just a lesson I need to also consciously learn because I need to be braver. I need to not be so discouraged by negative comments or by people who don't get it. And to a certain extent, that's probably true for everyone. Everyone is disturbed by these things. I don't know. I feel that at this point, it's time to have more conviction. I was watching a video on the fear of being misunderstood by Anna Howard. And at the end, she advises that, you know, if you're not able to take people's criticism, you don't have to share your work. Like, you can just make stuff, get good at it, develop your conviction in it, and then present it to the world when you have conviction. And I totally understand that logic, and I think that that made a lot of sense when I was younger. But I'm kind of at a point where I'm like, I don't think I'm going to develop the courage without trying it, right? Because besides the fact that it's not very motivating to make art that you don't share, it's not very motivating to start a conversation with the void. I also think there's something to be said about courage comes through trying and through people being mean to you and you proving that you survive it, proving that it doesn't really matter, that you can still make more art. On my second channel, which is a sports channel, I mean, there was a take that I had that everyone hated. I said that this quarterback isn't good under pressure. And everyone said, but the statistics say he is. The statistics say that he is. And I was like, yeah, but the statistics are measuring one thing. I'm talking about another. There's a lot of ways to be bad in this situation. Whatever. Everyone disagreed with me, right? Well, that's the video that like got my channel monetized because everyone was disagreeing with me and fighting in the comments about it. The comments really bothered me to the point where I was like, should I just not be doing this? Do I just not know enough? But then later in the season, I was like vindicated. It was like, yeah, he is bad under pressure. Look, when the pressure looks like this, that's when he's bad. The statistics aren't looking at every like differentiated situation. And it was just so revealing of like, no, you have to have conviction in what you're doing. If your art doesn't have conviction, it's no good than any other kind of art. And that was a good lesson. And it also proved that like, you can survive people disagreeing with you. You might be right. Be wrong, because you might be right. And part of me is like, if you want that kind of conviction, the way you get that is by getting good, right? Like, oh, practice is what makes confidence and all that. And I do think to a certain extent that's true. Like if I'm like, but I don't feel like I have credibility to talk about this thing. It's like, okay, go learn everything about this thing. But the problem with that is that to be an artist, you're kind of expected to be an expert on both the medium and the subject matter. And that's kind of unrealistic, isn't it? Like, so much great art has been made like about politics by people who've never studied politics. They're just people in the world with perspectives. And sometimes they nail it and sometimes they don't. But the critics always kind of write you, right? And that doesn't mean that they outdo your influence and then everything is okay. But like, we wouldn't have great political art without that. I don't think you need to become an expert. It's good to do reading. I do want to just get good, but I don't want to only make art if I'm an expert on the subject matter. I want to be capable of making art in too many subjects for that to be the case. And I think that's a good thing. I think everyone should be multiple in that sense. You can have a valid perspective on things without a lifetime of experience. I'm 26. How much experience can I have? How much perspective can I have? All I have is my perspective. When I was a kid, I would always try to avoid the like pitfalls of childhood that adults would talk about. Like, I think so many people were like, oh, when I was 17, I thought I knew everything, you know, and that's common in like song lyrics and stuff. And I just never resonated with that. I never once as a kid was like, I know everything. I know how everything works. I don't need to listen to anyone. Adults don't know anything. Like, I was very humble, you know, arguably too much. And I was never a bad teenager because I was always told like, oh, teenagers just become bad. And I was like, well, I don't see a reason for that, so I'm not going to. And I don't need to be like that. And I'm going to be the one who knew better. And I'm going to be the wiser one. That's not what other people were doing. But I am kind of paying the price for it now because now I have to learn conviction. Most people learn that as teenagers by just being over and over again wrong all the time, right? And they just forgave themselves and moved on, and they learned conviction from that. They learned to do what they want from that. They learned that they will survive pretty much any situation, and they just moved on. And I don't like blame myself for not having done that or not having this particular attitude. It was poured into me from every direction. I was rewarded for being one of the good ones, but I just think I need to be willing to bother people. I need to be willing to really piss people off, specifically by being myself. And maybe the best example of this is that at work, I used to have no personality. I would sit in the corner, I would be really quiet, I would do my work, and then I would go, and I wouldn't bother anyone, and I wouldn't talk unless someone talked to me first. And then one day I was like, you know what? This is miserable anyways. I may as well have a personality. People don't like me because I'm quiet. They just don't like it. Sure, being quiet like isn't who I am, but like, what if it was? How is that fair? And I was just having that thought process instead of like, okay, people don't like you because you're quiet. If you want them to like you, don't be quiet. They might dislike who you are, but right now you're guaranteeing that they'll never know you and they have no reason to like you. Sure, they shouldn't dislike you, but they do. So be yourself. What do you have to lose? And eventually I started doing that. Like I started going out of my way to sit by other people and talking more. And because of that, what do you know? Not only did people like me more, but I learned more from other people. I had a better connection to the job and I understood the tasks more. I learned more. I don't think I got that much better, but suddenly my boss was like, he just decided that I'm a good editor now. And it's like, okay, sure. I've been the same the whole time, but now I am myself. And I don't know, there's something there. I don't know how many times over and over again that I need to make art. I have no choice. I have to make people mad. I have to upset people, disappoint people, and experience people looking at my art and being like, yeah, that's mildly interesting, but I'm not really going to engage with it over and over again. And honestly, I feel the way about making videos that like comedians feel about doing comedy or filmmakers feel about doing films, where they're like, this sucks, I hate doing it, I don't want to do it, but the only thing worse than doing it is not doing it. Like, I feel so pulled to it, and I think, unlike them, I think I actually could enjoy doing it if I was myself. But as soon as I start recording, I get all self-conscious and I don't know what box to fit me in, and so I try to be like other people, and that doesn't make any sense. I need to do what I want, and I need to not be so afraid of that. All right, here's the progress we made. So this is what we have so far. I don't love the colors, but I like the shape. I like how it is generally turning out. I think I'm gonna have to darken this part of it and lighten some of this, which is fine. I have a lot of time to do it. Anytime I make videos where I'm painting, I don't make much progress on the painting during the video because it takes so long. But I'm having a lot of fun. I think I'm gonna keep doing it. And yeah, thanks for watching. Gonna make some more bad art, I guess.